What is up, guys? It's Verns back here again with another Supercoach video. This time it is the round 13 review. Not the greatest week from us, only plus 500 on the rank. An 1882 went up 500 spots to basically 25,000. I wish it was 2500. Yeah, honestly, I knew it wasn't a great week. If I was higher in the ranks, I know I'd definitely be going back with this kind of score. I guess, once again, the only positive of being such a low rank is it's very easy to see a green arrow, I feel. But we'll just go over, I guess, my week. I guess why I'm a little bit late on my video this week. Obviously, games, long weekend. We did have Melbourne, Collingwood on the Monday. Went down, watched that with my dad. Brother showed up at about halftime. He was working, unfortunately. But then, yeah, didn't really have the time to do it Monday night. Tuesday night, we did have the pod for the Supercoach Hub, so I hope you tuned into that. And then last night, I had basketball, and my dog also went in for surgery on the Wednesday morning. We dropped him off, 8:30, picked him up at about 6. Unfortunately, the little guy had a mass around his gum, got sent off, so see if he's all good there. But look, he was pretty groggy last night. He was pretty groggy this morning, and I kind of just wanted to give Tuesday to him as well. As I said, I still did the pod with Scobes, but didn't really have extra time to do this. So yeah, just being very busy this week, as to why it's coming out a bit late. If I had to be honest, though, it's a pretty hard week to navigate, and I'm glad I'm seeing teams right now. It makes it a little bit easier. Still not easy, but easier. But yeah, I appreciate all those that have tuned into this video, that have liked, subscribed for the consistent injections of Supercoach content directly into their YouTube feed. I'll also put my X bio down below, so feel free to go down there and follow me. I will update my trades through there each week. And I also did put a tweet out to say that I would be doing the video tonight. So just to update with people why I was running a bit late. Well, not why, but that it was going to be running a bit late. And then I'll also put the Supercoach Hub Discord below, so feel free to come in, join there, join part of the discussion, and we have our consensus team that we always vote in as well. Something that, now that I mention, I have not set up for this week really much at all, but I do think it's a hard week. Sort of just asked everyone what we think we should do, and I'll probably just go off the recommendations rather than putting votes out, because it's a very hard week to navigate. But we'll jump into the team, see how it went. Now, overall, the low score, I think, just came from a lot of underperforming primos. There wasn't like a huge amount of primos that went massive. Like, if you happen to have a Grundy in your team, like, congrats, huge. If you brought in Goulden, great, you got a massive reward this week for it. If you brought in Neil, good reward too. And for those that didn't know, if you're not following on my Twitter, I did actually change to LDU as my last trade-in instead of Neil. So this week obviously didn't work out, but it's all about until the end of the season, and I'm hoping LDU can give us some pod points there. I was very happy with his fixture, his run. He looks like he's hit some good form finally, and I do need to make pod plays at the end of the day. We've talked about it before, but I can't do what everyone else is doing if I want to somewhat catch the pack. So since most people were bringing in Neil as the premium, I could go there if I wanted, but I would prefer to take an alternate route that can maybe give me a little bit of an edge. And yeah, LDU's first week wasn't bad in the team, as they're not as good as Neil's, but plenty of weeks left to hopefully make that pick work. And of course, this has happened. It happens every time I start recording. Yeah, we can actually. And we're back. Sorry about that, guys. Got it all sorted. What I'll do first of all for us, though, is I will zoom into this team so we can see it a bit better, or maybe not. There we go. That's probably a bit much. So as we can see here, as I mentioned, there's a lot of premiums that did underperform. We were lucky enough that I've actually changed some captains and stuff around, but I haven't made any trades or anything, so I'm just going to leave it how it is. But we can see that, yeah, Max Holmes a bit of an underperformance. Dacos obviously an underperformance, kind of better for us though, because a lot of people did see him, so actually got us a bit of a points grab there. McGovern underperformance, Martin underperformance. Pink score didn't count, but I'm very happy he's playing, making some money. Bont underperformance. LDU was good, but about 20 points under Neil. Flanders was really good, but he wasn't our VC. I know a lot of people were on that. Steele, average. Dunkley, average. Dawson, pretty decent. And Green also underperformance. So just a lot of underperforming players here. So it just didn't feel great in that sense. Even head down to the ruck line. English underperform. And then, yeah, the forward line. I mean, Jack McRae, 59, underperforms. Gorm was our captain with a 132. So we did captain our second highest scoring player at least. So that worked out pretty well. We all know I was pretty big on captaining Gorn. And hey, I'll take a 132, especially considering the Pies get up. So, good positive there. But yeah, just really disappointing. Just so many players with just really average scores. Saying that, a lot of these are highly owned players like Martin, Dacos. I feel like Green, Steele's decently owned. Yeah, like a lot of those were highly owned players. Unfortunately, players like Holmes and McGovern that are big pods for us didn't quite get it together. So that's where we can make our difference, and that's where we've been making the difference the last few weeks. So a bit unfortunate they didn't quite get it together this week, but such is life. Yeah, not many big scores at all. Dawson, we did VC, didn't take 117. And as I mentioned, Gorm, we took it as the C. So yeah, that's how the team looked, guys. This week coming into it, once again, a lot of teams on the bye this week. This is going to be a real big difference maker. So I feel like this round and the next round, a lot of key players are out. So the people that can navigate these well will get a huge boost in the rankings. Now, for us, trades-wise, the hardest thing I find is when you look at this team, it's like, okay, where are the rookies at? So right now, I've got 6 premium defenders, 2 rookies. Pink obviously isn't ready to trade at 177k. Okay, midfielders. So we're just going to put Flanders in there for now. So we've got 8 midfielders with Flanders. The only rookies we really have is Sullivan and Clark. Sullivan probably should get another week. And Clark, we would like to keep. I think he's got a 3 break even. No, minus 21, even better. Wow. We'd like to keep Clark to keep making money, but it is his bye week, and Danger is back. I think I just looked at teams before, so if he's not, Danger is probably going to be back next week, which then could push him to the sub. Even if he's sub, he'll probably get some money, but is it really worth squeezing another 10k out of him? Obviously, the ruck line, we don't have any money makers there. And then we go down to the forward line now. If we include Reed sort of bouncing down towards this forward line, we have 3 dead rookies. 3 dead ones, and then only Fraser making money. Reed I'm going to keep as a keeper. And there's just not much to really move on. It's like, okay, Sullivan, Fraser, they're really the only guys, but they're both playing this week, and they have low enough break-evens to make money. I mean, at least Fraser does. Sullivan might go around the mark, but he's a playing player. And right now I have only 18 players playing. So his points are going to be important because they'll count. Obviously, I've still got trades to come, but even if it's going to push to 19, his score still may count. And we are up against North, so there's a chance that he has a big game there. So Sullivan, not somebody I want to trade. And that just gets awkward. So then it's like, okay, so the 2 most expensive rookies, I'm not trading them. As I mentioned, we're keeping Reed as a keeper. Who are the next guys? Then it's like, as I mentioned, Pink, Clark, Joe Richards. Like, they don't really have enough money on their head to be making moves with them. Like, what am I going to do if I trade them? Like, there's nothing here. And there's only one play I can really consider. And I don't even know if I can technically do it because it does rely on these mid-season draftees. But if we do trade Clark to a mid-season drafty, 102k, and we go up from McRae, we can get Zorko in with 1,000k left. So that's something that we can consider. We can consider Clark out, McRae upgrade to Dunkley, and that is a big upgrade because McRae right now isn't a top 6 forward. He's not even top 10. He's going like 70 average, maybe 75, where Zorko's probably going close to that 100 average, almost at minimum. It's a good 25 to 30 points a game to make there. That's a good upgrade. That is an upgrade. It's almost 200k. It's 160k worth of an upgrade. So that's definitely a positive to make. I just hate that idea because I was really didn't want to be sidewaysing any of these primos. There's nothing worse than when you sideways a primo and then Jack McRae comes out against Freo and Freo send Hayden Young to Bont to tag him, but Dogs play a good game. McRae, for some reason, just pops off and drops a 120, and then you're just so mad at that. And yeah, Zorko into Saints, it sounds amazing, but gets a 130, and it's like, wow, I made 10 points. And was it really worth the trade this week? Maybe not. So, oh man, I hate the idea of it, but at the same time, it's the only thing I can do that's really going to progress the team, because it's definitely an upgrade. It's definitely a positive move. But once again, we got to look at players. We got to look at these guys that are actually playing. So we jump down to the break-even game. This is obviously going to take into account players that have already played. And we need a 102k guy, and obviously we're not going to pick Phillips because he's out. Unfortunately, Dowling is a 123k. Kruger is a 123k. We just don't have any 102k guys that played last week that are still playing that I'm aware of. Obviously, Hutchinson's on his bye, so we really need someone that's playing. So that leaves me in a position where I have to look at someone that hasn't played yet, which doesn't fill me full of confidence at all. I don't even know who's been named as a 102k rookie. If I scroll to the bottom, does it give me their prices, or does it put me in? Nah, it puts me in. So, sorry, the bottom will give me their prices. Is there anyone even named at a 102k rookie? And no, there's not even anyone named at 102k. So, the only play I can technically make, nobody's even been named to make it. So, that just doesn't work. As I mentioned, the only other thing is bringing in Hutchinson. I think that's how you say his name. Who's played one? Oh, wow. That's awful. The only other thing I guess I could technically do would be moving Sullivan out this week. Move him out. Move McRae up. That doesn't feel good at all. That does not feel good at all. Especially into North. I was really hoping to get some more money out of him. And then the problem is there, if I'm doing that, then how am I upgrading next week? I'm not. I'm simply not upgrading next week. Like, gonna hold Clark. I would potentially try and move Frazier, but nobody else is ready to go down at that point. Even if I went down from Richards an extra 100k, I'm not going to bring someone in for 350k. I mean, maybe. How much is Kerno and Mackay? If they're cheap enough, maybe they're consideration. So let's just Kerno. Okay, he's too expensive. Okay. God, this internet hurts. 420, too much as well. God, I'd have to. I mean, let's say he goes up to 270, the 100k off Joe Richards, pushes us to 370. Technically, I'd have a bit of money left over from Lockie Sullivan, about 60k, so about 430. So I guess in that retrospect, I could end up getting like a Mackay. Yeah, I guess that's one of the few options I have. The thing is, I haven't even finished my midfield yet. What a mess. What a mess this has turned into with so much money troubles. I did mention this early in the season. I definitely flagged it that we were going to run out of money, and I didn't know if I was going to finish my best 22. And maybe I'm getting a bit greedy trying to look at getting 23 players because we just don't have the funds. The only way we get the funds is if I don't trade for a few weeks, hopefully let these rookies fatten up and then trade them a bit later to get that 23rd, 24th. Yeah, I mean, look, positive. Mackay is so cheap for the guy that's scored the 6th most. He has an injury symbol on him, though. I didn't realize he hurt himself. That could be rough. That's not what I'm hovering over, but cool. Thanks. Glad we saw that. A lot of people talking about Simpkin. I think Simpkin's at like 350k. I'm really glad with how Lipinski's going. Obviously, early in the season, I talked about him being a sneaky one. And he's managed to get up to 11th, which is pretty cool. Saying that he's definitely played a lot more games than others. I'm sure if we clicked to average, he probably drops quite significantly. Probably need to click average as well to check out a few important players. Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. We're not going to be able to afford ranking later on in the season with the way things are going. I wouldn't mind Jackson for ruck cover, but maybe I keep Kruger. Maybe Kruger can be that for me. That would be nice. Please let me scroll, please. You can't go near Waterman, like, at that price. I think with how well he's playing, you could go near him, but if he was cheaper. If you knocked 60k off him, you'd be very happy to get him, I think. Jeremy Cameron has a good run home. I don't mind the idea of Cameron, which probably sounds weird to people, but I don't mind it. Hopefully you can get him on those spike games and it feels good. Yeah, this is more realistic. Lipinski down the 23rd, which doesn't feel very good. Trakey. Bradley Hill's been nice in a few draft leagues, or at least he was earlier in the season. Kind of fell off a bit now. Toby Green's super cheap, but not cheap enough for how he's been performing. Once again, that's someone that if you knocked 30, 40k off, you'd be very interested in. Rayner's been a real yo-yo. Definitely wouldn't go there. God, where even is Simkin? This is crazy how low he is. I thought he was like a 70 average, but is he less? Is he 65 or something? No, he's less than that. Oh my goodness. Is he a 55 average or something? Okay, there we go. Jai Simkin. 360, 66 average. Yeah, I ain't doing that. I thought I'd just look at him just to see what he was actually priced at. Not something I'm going to be doing. I'd feel a lot more comfortable going towards a Jeremy Cameron or a Mackay, honestly, next week. So I guess that's the possibility for the team. If we do go Sullivan this week, we can still technically make an upgrade next week with Fraser. It means Joe Richards has to go out, which is kind of annoying because I wouldn't have minded Joe Richards keeping him on the back end of this. What is up, guys? I am back. Now, I'm not too sure where I'm going to chop and change this into the video, but look, the internet was super laggy. I could not get trades happening. It was a bit of a mess. I'm pretty sure I actually miscounted. I thought I had 18 coming into this week. I counted before Dawson went down. I might have counted last week, so the trades I did didn't even make sense because it left me at 17. So I just wanted to talk about it in a bit more detail regarding these trades. I don't know if I should be going McRae up, just because McRae up to Zorko sounds great and all. I could go Richards to Dowlings to Dowing, whatever, maybe Kruger, so I can get an extra player playing this week, and that would push me to 18, so I could end up with Zorko. I would have to go Sullivan down, so maybe Kruger and then Dowling as well. I don't really like the sound of that. Two players that are going to have buys next week. That'll probably cause more issues than it's worth. If I do just have a quick look at my round 15 buy, I would have 6 playing. I don't know if Clark's even going to play, so let's just say 5. So that's 11, 12, and then 3. We'd end up with 15. Zorko would come in, so we'd go to 16, but then we'd have 16 and would have to trade into players to get 17, 18. I could make it work and get Zorko, but it doesn't feel great. I guess the other option is maybe going to a Simkin, which might sound awful, and I don't really want to do that. But if I went to someone like a Simkin, let's just say hypothetically, I could just go down from a Joe Richards and up from a Sullivan, and boom, I've got Simkins. We're good. Joe Richards down would add an extra player playing, so that would get me the 18 this week. I'd still have to move McRae because McRae still has a bye next week, so that doesn't really give me an extra player for the following week. I'd still have 16 going into it. Yeah, it's a bit of a hard one to say once I looked at it. I just don't want to burn through 3 trades because I'm not really making much money. Like, yeah, we make 100k here, we downgrade for 150k there, so 250k, we get one upgrade, and basically hold like 100k for next week with 7 trades. What would that leave me with? I just want to quickly look at the full Primo team on field just to see what I'd be left with exactly with 7 trades. So let's just get Reed down there. So right now we're 1 premium off. Sexton may have to be flipped, so I've got to keep that in mind as well. But if we did this, we'd get Zorko in, 2 rookies out, so it's just a better premium. We'd still have 16 next week with 7 trades. We'd have to try and get an upgrade for our 6th sort of forward. So as I mentioned, maybe a Mackay or something along those lines, a cheaper forward that we can afford. Maybe a Cameron, a bit more of a pod, good run home, and he's definitely had stretches before where he's been insane. So that, going to Cameron would obviously get us to 17. Going down to a rookie hopefully playing next week would get us to who would I even go? I mean, maybe Clark plays. If Clark doesn't play, then we can go Clark down. That can hopefully get us to 18 playing. That'd be 18 playing. That would get us a full team of premium, so I'd have 22, and then I'd need let's see. So Clark down, 100k, Fraser up with the extra 100k in the bank should maybe get us to a Cameron. So that would probably get us to a Cameron. So we would then have 5 trades left, 18 playing, so that would be good. 5 trades, potentially a second sideways may have to come in the future depending on how his role is affected, so I've got to keep that in mind. If I wanted to get to a 23rd premium, I have to wait and hope that Pink maybe gains some cash. Maybe these new rookies we bring in get some cash, and I can do a 1 up, 1 down to try and get to a 23rd premium, and that would leave me at 2 trades. So best case scenario here is if I do it this way, which I think unfortunately is the best way to do it because we want the premium team as soon as possible. We want full primo. I mean, and McRae to Zorko is a massive upgrade. Obviously it brings a lot of injury risks, so then keeping 2 trades for injury risks, a lot of the season left. Zorko out at any point in time would suck, but at least we'd have a 23rd player to maybe cover. But if I brought in a 23rd player, they would probably be a defensive player, so I can play Nick Martin as a defensive mid. I'll probably bring in like a Sinclair, maybe a Nas. So that's the plan. That's how I get to 23 premiums with 2 trades left, I guess. If I chose to hold on to McRae, then I can probably get to 23 premiums, maybe 4 trades left, and maybe push to 24 premiums. But then I technically have more low tier premiums. So like I'd have a McRae and let's just say a McRae and a Mackay instead of just a Zorko. And yeah, maybe McRae and Mackay, I can yin-yang some scores, but Zorko's probably just better, especially on this week coming in, considering he doesn't have a bye, because he's already had his bye game. Yeah, I think thinking about it out loud, that's probably the most logical play. Run 23 premiums. I feel like a lot of these premiums are still decently top end, and I'm not too unhappy with that. So I think that's just the move. I think that's the move on paper, what we need to do. So we'll make that move right now. So McRae was going out. It sucks to move Sullivan early, but it's got to be the way. Richards has to move because I just need money. I maybe could move Darcy Jones instead, because I think Richards is better with a better break even. Oh, do we try and get away with Darcy Jones? Is that maybe too greedy? The 60 extra K, I mean, at the moment I'm prepping for maybe 460K to get Cameron. Cameron, I think, is 420K when I looked at him. So if I was to go 30K down, I should still be able to afford him. So I think that would be fine. Let's just key this in. So we're going to go for break evens first of all. We've got to bring in Kruger. We've got to bring in Dowling. And then this is where we can bring in the Zorks. So average Zorks. Boom. 92K. Yeah, 92K on top of Fraser puts us to about, as I mentioned, 350-ish. Assuming Fraser goes up in price, maybe 370-ish. Then if we go Clark down next week, unless Clark maybe plays, but maybe Clark down next week. Bank another 120k. That then pushes to like 5. As I said, like maybe like 490 or something. So I still get plenty of money with this play. The 30k extra is nice, but I would like Joe Richards because, as I mentioned, I'm going to need someone to make cash if I want to get to that 23rd premium. So I think he's the best option out of the two to potentially do that. So, yeah, I guess this is what we're going to go for, guys. Maybe it's not pretty. Maybe it's not correct. But it's, I think, the best play I can make. Let's throw him on field for now. And I know what, I'm just going to put Reed over Dawson because eventually Reed will actually be on field. As we mentioned, the Zorko VC. Probably into the Gornsey, as I mentioned. Oh, sorry, I don't think I mentioned that. So it depends on when I cut the video because it just got so laggy. It was impossible to finish the recording. I don't know when I'm going to chop and change and put this in. But I think captaincy Zorko is the most easiest VC. Potentially, I was going to look at Bont into maybe, you saw the Sion Fisher at the start of this video. Potentially Fisher. Maybe LDU, but I think I prefer Fisher over LDU, and that's under the assumption that maybe Dacos is not playing, but obviously if Dacos is playing, no harm done. That's the only problem with this play too, is it's moved me to, I think, exactly 18, so we've got 4 here, 5, alright, now I can swing these guys around. Before I do that, I've got to move you actually with Reed. Sorry, 5, 6, 14, 18. So that's 18 on field, and that's including Toby Pink, who I'm going to have to take his score. That does not feel good. I would definitely like to. I wish there was a better way to do this. Better way to move players that aren't playing right now. I mean, I could technically move Jai Clark actually instead of Sullivan. I just realized that with the money. And then that maybe works better actually. Yo, let's do that. I didn't think about this once we got the 100k in. Sorry, upgrade. It sucks to go Clark right now, but it is what it is. Yeah, so it puts 30k. But it means if I go 1 down, 1 up next week with Sullivan and Frazier, it's good. Now, that's under the assumption Sullivan's playing. I believe he's named on the extended bench. So we won't know till tomorrow night. But... wait, can I even get him on field? Yeah, I can't even get him on field, can I? Yo, there's actually no way to get him on field. Because these guys don't have DPP at all. Well, I guess Sexton does, but he'd have to fling up here. And these guys in their DPP, they can't move with anyone in the midfield. Oh, wow. So it doesn't matter if I keep Sullivan. I'm pushing 18 as it is. And I've got to take Pink's. Probably take Pink's score. Oh. That doesn't feel good. That doesn't feel good at all. I mean, I can at least technically loophole these two. Oh, man. Sorry, let me go back to my original trades. I want to see if I can actually switch this around a bit better. No, because I'm not trading anyone from the defense line. If I was trading someone from the defense line, I could always move someone back. But that still doesn't really fix the problem. Oh, wow, that sucks. That sucks so much. I really thought we had a way of getting 19, but we totally don't. Yeah, because I'm not moving any of those 4 on, and these 3 we just talked about. I just moved one of them. Who else did I move out again? So Jones and Clark. So if I move Richards instead of Clark, I think... does that solve my issue? I think that solves my issue. Let's do that. I think that would be... I kind of wanted to keep Richards, though. I don't really want to do it this way. Oh man, just the way it is, it's being annoying. So, say I moved Richards instead of Clark, but I want to keep Richards for when he's back. As I said, if he can get back into the team, he's got nice money on his head. Clark could be the trade next week, but it does mean that I'm able to actually field 19 this week. But the problem is, it's like, let's just say I end up fielding 19. What happens if, the extra player I end up getting in the form of Sullivan or Frazier on field ends up being my lowest scoring player anyway, so the score doesn't count, and I've just done all this annoyance for no reason. That's definitely a possibility as well. Definitely a possibility. Yeah, no, I think I won't go through with that. I think this is that we'll leave the team at, so we'll play with 18. Yeah, pink score is going to have to count, which could suck, but he's been doing pretty decent at just getting out 30s every week. So let's have faith in him to get out some 30s. We at least have a look at Frazier's score before Sullivan has a swing. Is it worth having a look at maybe Dowling instead of Frazier? Who am I more confident in? Dowling into Swans or on Adelaide Oval, or Frazier into Freo? I think I got a bit more faith in Frazier. We've seen more of him. I know what he's more capable of. Yeah, maybe we go for it like this. And then we can just swing them around accordingly. Okay. So yeah, we'll have 18 playing, but we technically get to look at 19. Doesn't mean I'm going to potentially get a better score, but yeah. Sorry, I rambled on for so long, guys. Just trying to set up the team appropriately for this week. It's a rough week. It is definitely a rough week. And you got to think about future trades too. So there's 37k in the bank. Sullivan down, Frazier up next week. We end up with maybe a Cameron. That completes our full primo team. And it should get us to 18 playing next week as well, which would be pretty ideal. Yeah. Awesome. I guess the only thing if I get rid of Richards is, as I said, I want him potentially for the back end here to earn some hopefully money. But if Clark ends up getting named next week and I end up in a position where I only have 17 on field, Clark could potentially save me a few points. There's a chance Clark comes on and scores a 16, so he doesn't even matter. Or maybe he scores a 60 and it's quite relevant. Man, so many possibilities I have to consider here. So many possibilities. That makes the most sense. It really sucks that Richards is out, but that would actually make the most sense to take Clark out. Yeah, that'd make the most sense. Okay, let's swing things around here. So, gosh, is there a way for me to update these? So let's go Joe Richards out, swing Dowling down, and then I need Clark back in my team. If I go to break-evens, will I find him there? Oh, wow. He's got actually one of the higher break-evens in the midfield. Well, like one of the better break-evens. So he is kind of better to keep in that sense. So it's even less money. Not by much, though. But what this means is, boom. Okay, now we at least have 19 playing on field. So we maybe funnel out one of these worse scores. Maybe pink score. Most likely pink score. So that makes me feel a bit better, which is good. And then, as I said, maybe next week, even after my trades, I would only have technically had 17 playing if I have Joe Richards, but maybe with Clark playing as well, I managed to field 18, and maybe that's an extra 60 points as well. So, yeah, it's a rough by the navigate, but I think we've done a decent job of getting an ideal outcome here. Yeah, I've got faith here. I've got faith. It's nice to see all those green dots. We're going to make it work. We're going to make it happen. Unfortunately, as I said, we're not going to get 24 primos, but I'm pretty confident we're going to be getting 23. And they're definitely 23 better primos with Zorko over McRae. As I mentioned, worst case scenario, if we have to side with a Sexton or side with a Zorko, that should still leave us with maybe one trade left for any other injuries. But the 23rd player, if it's only a 1 or 2 weeks, the 23rd player can cover for those few games. And then, yeah, we're good to go. Yeah, enough rambling. So sorry about that. I've got to edit this shit up and see how it's actually looking, and hopefully it's all okay. But I really appreciate all those that stuck to the end of the video. I really appreciate all those that have liked, subscribed, and just here with my journey. As I mentioned, so sorry I got out so late. Next week I'll get it done early, and I really appreciate y'all. But till next time, peace, later.